everybody, and welcome back to the MMA Training Bible Step-by-Step Guide to Goal Setting. So you've come a long way, you're about halfway through the course, and you're really to be congratulated for that because a lot of people actually don't make it this far, so well done. In part one, specifically, you'll learn that developing a better understanding of where you are right now in your technical development, your physical fitness, and your psychological development, and understanding why you fight in the first place, is the first step in transforming yourself into the fighter that you really want to be. You use these performance profiles to get associated with all of these components, and you also learn that performance profiles, they can indicate your strengths and they can indicate your weaknesses, and they can provide some focus for future training, but the big problem with them is that they don't help you set very compelling goals, and that's a little bit of a problem. So what are we going to do about it? In part two, it's all about setting compelling goals and creating a compelling future. We're going to think about what you really want to achieve, what you really want to get out of your MMA career. And also, you're going to think about what it is that you really want to achieve in terms of your technical development and your physical fitness and your psychological development as a fighter. And you're going to get really specific and create some motivating visions that will drive you on a daily basis. So this session here, it's focusing on setting unstoppable MMA career goals, so big picture stuff. And then in session 6, we're going to focus on creating psychological goals for psychological skills, how you want to act in training and in a fight, how you want to be. In session 7, we're going to focus on physical fitness, where you want to be in terms of physical fitness when you're competing on the big stage. And session 8, we're going to focus on what level of mastery you want to have in MMA skills. So let's get into it. This is session 5, setting unstoppable career goals. We've got some learning objectives for you here. And the first learning objective is I want you to understand the 5-step process that we're going to be using to set goals in all of these latter videos. And then after that, I want you to be able to apply these 5 steps to actually set unstoppable career goals. So let's get right into it. What are those 5 steps? In order to get you to create these compelling goals in these 5 steps, I've adapted these steps from Robbins in 1996, and I've updated them to suit mixed martial artist fighters and other combat sport athletes as well. So I'm going to take you through these steps here just to give you a little overview of what it's all about. So step number 1, brainstorm objectives and goals. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get you to brainstorm every change, every improvement, or every vision that you want to make into a reality in your career as they relate to mixed martial arts over the next 1 to 20 years. And you're just going to let your imagination go wild. Second thing is timeline. You're going to identify the most important goals in each category and set a timeline for their achievement. 1, 3, 5, 10, and 20 years even. The third thing, you're going to identify the top 3 one-year goals in each category that you find the most compelling, that you want to achieve the most, that you find the most exciting. Number 4, you're going to visualize what will happen if you were to achieve these goals within the next year. And then 5th, you're going to visualize what will happen if you did not achieve these goals in the next year. So the first thing that you need to do, if you haven't already, is you need to download the part 2 exercises, which should look just like this. Now you should be able to download those on a link just around the screen. So this is the part 2 exercises, and the first thing is we're going to do an exercise, how to create a compelling future in mixed martial arts. And you see we've broken it down into steps, and this is creating compelling career goals. So you can see step number 1 right here. Brainstorm everything that you'd like to do, achieve in your career over the next 1 to 20 years. That's the first step. And that's what we're going to be working on. You can see step 2 is here, step 3 is here, step 4, step 5 as well. And if we scroll through the document, you can see we move on to psychological goals. In the next video, we move on to physical conditioning goals or physical fitness goals. And then we finish off with technical development goals. And I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step process for filling out all of these, and we have references, of course, at the end here. So this is where we're at. Make sure that you have this sheet in front of you. So if you haven't already, I want you to pause the video and download this, print it off, get a pencil, and then put me back on, and then we're going to get going. Okay, you should be looking at the exercise here, how to create a compelling future in mixed martial arts, and you should be focusing specifically on creating compelling career goals. Now, what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to walk you through this, We're going to get started in a second here, but basically just keep the video on, keep it playing, and just scribble, scribble, scribble. Get everything out of your head, get it all down on that page. So first, I just want you to brainstorm all the things that you would like to do or achieve in your career over the next 1 to 20 years. And this is an interactive workshop. Keep the video playing and keep on writing, where you can always replay it. Don't stop writing. Don't self-censor yourself. Don't self-censor your ideas. You'll assess what you've written down later on, but just keep on writing. What do you want to achieve in the next 1 to 20 years? Napoleon Bonaparte, he said that imagination rules the world. So be imaginative and think about what you really want to get out of your career. What legacy would you like to create? Maybe you want to win all of your MMA fights. Maybe you want to become a successful professional fighter. Maybe you want to make it to the UFC. Maybe you want to be the first fighter from your gym to compete in the UFC. Or maybe you want to be in the UFC. Maybe you want to get a title shot. What are some goals that you have for your career? Think about it. Maybe you want to win a local no-gi tournament, or maybe you want to fight in a local promotion. Or maybe you want to do it in Europe. Maybe you want to do it in Abu Dhabi, somewhere in the Middle East. Who would you like to get close to in the sport? Who would you like to meet personally? Maybe you want to meet Dana White. Maybe you want to meet a legend like GSP. Or maybe you want to meet Jedi Bry from Gym 01, the Monsters down in Portsmouth in England. If you haven't heard from them, I know you will soon, because they got a lot of really great fighters over there. How many times do you want to fight per year? Maybe you want to give something back. What would you like to give back? Maybe you want to help beginners or do more one-to-one sessions. I don't know what it is for you. Just keep on scribbling down. Get it all out of your head. Maybe you'd like to build something. What would you like to build? Maybe you want to build a gym. Maybe you want to build a training system. Maybe you want to build a coaching system. Maybe you're good at coaching and you have a good method for something and you want to share that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you want. It's up to you to create. It's your future. Just keep writing things down. Do you have any long-term goals of contribution? What are they? What else would you like to achieve? What else would you like to do? Maybe you want to compete in a non-contact submission grappling competition. Maybe you want to compete in an amateur or semi-pro or pro fight. Maybe you want to gain a ranking, although a lot of people think that they don't mean very much, but maybe that's a goal of yours. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe you want to get a title shot on a certain show. Or maybe you want to develop the physical and mental attributes to compete in your first amateur MMA fight. Write down whatever is important to you. Okay, we're about to finish up here, so get those thoughts down. Okay, I hope you have a big list, because we're going to move on to step 2 here. So for this step, I want you to go back through your list and identify your most important goals. I want you to identify the ones that matter the most, and I want you to set a timeline for their achievement. So 1 year or 3 years or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Just put a little year indicator by how long you think it's going to take to achieve those goals. And don't be afraid to set big and intimidating goals yourself. T.S. Eliot, he said that only those who risk going too far could possibly find out how far one can go. So go and do this now. I want you to pause the video, and you're going to be working on step 2 here. So you're going to be going back through all of these goals that you've just written down, all these objectives, and putting down 1, 3, 5, 10, or 20 years to achieve them. So pause the video and go and do this now. Okay, you should have a big list with a whole bunch of goals with a time frame for their achievement. For step 3, what I want you to do is I want you to go back through the list and select the top 3 one-year goals that will really get you excited if you were to achieve them in the next year. If you haven't come up with at least 3 one-year goals, then go back and repeat step 1 with this in mind. So here we are. We're scrolling through this sheet. You're selecting the top 3 one-year goals that would really get you excited, and you're listing them right here. So again, if you haven't, then go back to step 1 listen to me again, come up with some ideas, and then let's move on to the final step, or step 4, and then the final step. Okay, so you should have moved on from step 3. Let's go on to step 4 and make sure that you're following along. You can always pause this, you can always go back and watch it. So let's move on to step 4. Visualize it in your mind. As a fighter, how would your life change for the better if you were to achieve these goals? How would this affect your family? Because it's not just you, things that you do affect other people, affect your friends. How would it affect your friends? How would it affect your family? How would it affect other relatives? How would it affect your training partner? How would it affect your coach? Think about all these things. If you were to achieve these goals, how would it make other people feel? How would it change the way things are run around your gym? If you set a new standard for yourself and achieve your goals, people around you, they can't help but notice and they can't help but improve. This is how the best teams in the world are formed. A couple people step it up and the whole group follows. So please pause the video now and think about what would happen if you were to achieve all of these one-year goals. So pause the video now and then write that down. So now we're moving on to step 5. I want you to identify what would happen if you didn't achieve these goals. What would happen if you were not able to achieve all these goals? How many opportunities in MMA would you miss? What type of opportunities do you think that you'd miss? How would this affect your coach? How would this affect your training partners? How would this affect your family? How would you feel in a year's time knowing that you could have achieved so much but didn't? You'd probably feel a sense of failure. John Wooden, the famous basketball coach in the United States, he said that failure is knowing that you didn't do the things that you should have done and you're the only one that will really know. So please pause the video now and visualize, and really do this. Visualize what would happen in your life if you didn't achieve these goals. It's really important to get all of these components done, to think about the pros and the cons, and especially the cons. Okay, so that's it. That's the 5 steps. You should have now 3 compelling one-year goals for your career, and you should have a whole bunch of positive associations with them. If you were to achieve these goals in the next year, look at what would happen to you. But also think about if you didn't achieve these goals, what would happen? Weigh the pros and the cons. So that's it for this video. We've gone through these 5 steps. Specifically for your MMA career goals. We brainstormed everything you'd like to achieve in the next 1 to 20 years. We put a timeline for achieving it for 1, 3, 5, 10, or 20 years for the most important changes. We identified the top 3. We picked those top 3 one-year goals, and you visualized achieving them, and you visualized not achieving them. So here are the references if you want to do a little bit more digging. But other than that, this video, it's done. What we're going to go on to in the next video is apply the same 5-step process that we just did, except we're going to do it for psychological goals. So I look forward to seeing you in that next video. And if you need to go back and go through step 1 again, then go do it again. Now's the time to do it while all this stuff is fresh in your mind. But otherwise, if you're ready to move on, I look forward to seeing you in the next session.